When we buy meat, we want to believe that the animals raised to produce it have been well cared for. We trust that they have been raised in good conditions and that they have been cared for when they have fallen ill. But did you know that if we continue to use so many antibiotics to treat farming animals, these antibiotics might not function anymore? Bacteria can make animals very sick. Fortunately, we can rely on antibiotics to make them better. Unfortunately, every time we use antibiotics, we decrease their effectiveness. That's because bacteria can become resistant to them, meaning the antibiotics no longer function. It is thus important to use antibiotics only when necessary, by adapting the way we keep animals to prevent them from becoming sick as much as possible. We can do this by, for example, rethinking the way we house and transport the animals, or by adapting their feed, or even by trying new approaches, such as keeping young animals longer with their moms. Let's take the example of farmer Leah. If she wants to limit the use of antibiotics on her farm, she may ask her veterinarian for advice. The vet may recommend the use of new vaccines, changes to her animals' feed, or to adapt the ventilation of the stables. In order for Leah to change the way she keeps her animals, as recommended by her veterinarian, several actions are needed, such as pharmaceutical companies making new vaccines available by investing in research and development, and training technicians and veterinarians so they can advise Leah on how to properly modify the ventilation. In addition, these changes may increase Leah's production costs, meaning she may have to negotiate new prices with slaughterhouses or retailers to be able to finance the changes and still make a sufficient profit. To investigate whether farmers like Leah are experiencing difficulties in adjusting the way they keep animals and limiting the use of antibiotics, I spoke with them, as well as veterinarians, representatives from government, pharmaceutical companies, feed companies, and many other actors from the food supply chain. I discovered that, for example, in sectors that produce a smaller number of animals, fewer investments are made to make new technologies available, as compared to sectors that produce more animals. I also discovered that it is currently very difficult for farmers to negotiate produce prices, because we value the end product, for example, the quality of our meat, more than the way it was produced. My goal is to write a report about the factors I identified and to give recommendations as to how we can try to overcome these. This way, we can further reduce the need for antibiotics in farms.